Happiness is not something that falls from the sky, it is something we rise up and create every single day. Too often, we wait for life to get easier, for people to treat us better, or for circumstances to change before we decide to be happy. But happiness is not a gift of chance, it is the result of choice. If you want joy in your life, you must push yourself to rise above excuses, above laziness, above negativity, and decide every morning that today is the day you will live fully. My friends, think for a moment. When was the last time you felt truly alive, truly grateful, truly peaceful? Happiness doesn't come when everything is perfect. It comes when we align our thoughts with positivity, when we discipline our mind, and when we connect our heart with God. Life is short, unpredictable, and fragile. But the beauty is, within each of us lies the power to make today brighter than yesterday. The question is not whether happiness exists. The question is whether we are willing to push ourselves to live it every single day. Happiness is a daily choice. It is not something that happens by accident, it is something we consciously create. Every single day, when you wake up, life gives you two doors to walk through. One door is the door of complaints, negativity, and dissatisfaction. The other door is the door of gratitude, joy, and inner strength. Most people walk through the first door unconsciously. They wake up, pick up their phone, scroll through problems, compare themselves with others, and begin their day with a heavy heart. But the wise, those who truly understand life, they pause for a moment in the morning and choose the second door. They remind themselves that no matter what challenges come today, I will choose to be happy, I will choose to be peaceful, I will choose to be grateful. Think of it like this: every morning when the sun rises, the light does not ask us whether we are ready for it. It simply shines. And in the same way, life keeps moving. We may not control the weather. We may not control other people's behavior. We may not control how the world treats us. But there is one thing that is always in our control: our response. Happiness is not found in perfect circumstances, but in a perfect attitude. You can see two people living in the same situation, one miserable, one joyful. Why? Because one chose to complain and the other chose to embrace life with gratitude. Imagine two friends wake up on a rainy morning. The first friend says, "Oh no, look at this rain, my whole day is ruined. I cannot go outside, the roads will be dirty, everything will be uncomfortable." And the second friend says, "What a blessing! The earth is being nourished, the farmers will rejoice, and today I get to enjoy the sound of rain while sipping tea." The rain is the same, but the experience is different. The difference is not in the weather, it is in the choice of mindset. One chose frustration, the other chose happiness. This is why we must push ourselves daily. Because happiness does not automatically appear in our life. Our mind is naturally drawn towards what is wrong, what is missing, what is unfair. If you don't train your mind, it will drag you down into the valley of negativity. But if you discipline your mind, if you remind yourself every morning that happiness is your choice, then even the hardest days become lighter. Even struggles become teachers. Even failures become steps to growth. The happiest people are not the ones with no problems. They are the ones who learned how to rise above their problems with the right attitude. Let me share with you an example. A young student once told me, "Sir, I cannot be happy because my exams are so stressful." I asked him, "Do you think the exam will get easier if you remain unhappy?" He laughed and said, "No, of course not." Then I said, "Then why are you punishing yourself twice? Once by facing the exam, and second, by losing your peace over it. Why not keep your happiness and face the exam with calmness? Because happiness will not remove the challenge, but it will give you the strength to face it with courage. My friends, happiness is not the absence of difficulty, it is the presence of strength. Think about your own life. How many times have you delayed your happiness? We tell ourselves, I will be happy when I get that job, when I buy that house, when people respect me, when I achieve more. And then, when those things come, we set another condition. I will be happy when I get the next thing. This endless cycle keeps us chasing happiness instead of living it. Happiness is not a destination, it is a decision. It is not tomorrow, it is today. It is not outside, it is inside. So I urge you, every morning, make a conscious choice. Just as you decide what clothes to wear, decide what thoughts you will wear. Will you wear the clothes of complaints or the clothes of gratitude? Will you wear the clothes of comparison or the clothes of self-respect? Will you wear the clothes of stress or the clothes of faith? You may not control the outer world, but you are the designer of your inner world. Even when life throws difficulties, remind yourself, I will not let my happiness be stolen, because no one can steal it without your permission. People may insult you, situations may frustrate you, but you hold the key to your inner peace. The moment you say, I choose happiness, I choose peace, I choose faith, you take back your power from the world. And that, my friends, is real freedom. To be happy, not because everything is perfect, but because you refuse to let imperfection control you. Happiness is not waiting for us somewhere in the future. It is waiting for us right here, in this very moment. All we need to do is push ourselves, discipline our mind, and open our heart to the blessings around us. And when we make this choice every day, not only do we transform our own life, we become an inspiration for others. People look at us and say, if he can smile through challenges, if she can remain peaceful in pressure, then maybe I can too. And that ripple effect of happiness is the greatest gift we can give to the world. Discipline your mind. My friends, the mind is like a wild horse. If left uncontrolled, it will drag you into places you never wanted to go. But if trained, if guided, that same mind can take you to heights you never imagined. Every thought that enters your head has the power to either lift you or sink you. And the truth is, most of us allow our mind to run on autopilot. We don't choose our thoughts carefully. We just follow whatever comes. If a negative thought arises, we feed it. If a memory of failure arises, we replay it again and again. If a doubt appears, we build a whole story around it. And then we wonder why our life feels heavy. The answer is simple, because we have not disciplined our mind. Imagine your mind like a garden. If you don't take care of it, weeds will grow automatically. No one plants weeds, they just appear. In the same way, negativity, overthinking, stress, comparison, they all appear naturally if we don't maintain our mental garden. But if you water your mind daily with gratitude, with positive affirmations, with spiritual connection, then flowers will bloom. You must ask yourself every day, am I feeding weeds or am I feeding flowers? Because whatever you feed will grow. Let me give you a very simple daily life example. Suppose you are walking down the street and someone frowns at you. The undisciplined mind will immediately start running. Why did he look at me like that? Did I do something wrong? Does he hate me? Maybe people don't respect me. And suddenly, one small frown from a stranger becomes the cause of your suffering for the entire day. But a disciplined mind will see the same situation and say, maybe he was just lost in his own thoughts. Maybe he had a bad day. It has nothing to do with me. And you move on, keeping your peace intact. The difference is not in the world, it is in the discipline of your mind. In fact, most of the suffering we experience in life is not because of events, but because of the story our mind tells us about those events. The mind exaggerates problems, creates fears, and imagines scenarios that don't even exist. And if we do not discipline it, we become prisoners of our own thoughts. But when we train it, when we take charge, the same mind becomes our greatest friend. Think of athletes. They discipline their bodies every day to build strength. They practice, they push, they sweat, they sacrifice comfort to achieve fitness. Now imagine if we applied the same principle to our mind. Instead of allowing lazy, negative, fearful thoughts to dominate, we trained ourselves daily to focus on gratitude, peace, and possibility. Just like muscles grow with exercise, positivity grows with mental discipline. You become mentally fit to handle life. I once met a businessman who told me, "Sir, my stress is uncontrollable. Every night I lie awake worrying about deals, deadlines, and failures." I asked him, "Do you think your worry is solving your problems?" He smiled sadly and said, "No, in fact, it makes them worse." Then I said, "Worry is like a rocking chair. It keeps you moving, but takes you nowhere. What you need is discipline of the mind. Before you sleep, instead of entertaining every negative thought, guide your mind towards calmness. Breathe, meditate, pray, or write down solutions. Don't let your mind control you. You control your mind." He tried it, and within weeks, he said his nights were peaceful, his focus was sharper, and his happiness was higher. His problems didn't vanish overnight, but his mental strength increased, and that changed everything. The truth is, undisciplined minds are like open doors. Anyone can walk in. Negativity from the news, complaints from people, criticism from society, all of it enters and settles inside us. But a disciplined mind is like a guarded door. You choose what enters. You choose what stays. That is real freedom. It is not freedom to think whatever comes. It is freedom to think what you want. Even in spirituality, discipline of the mind is the foundation. When you sit in silence, when you repeat a mantra, when you remember God, what are you really doing? You are training your mind to focus, to calm down, to rise above restlessness. And when the mind becomes calm, happiness naturally follows. Because a restless mind can never be peaceful, and a peaceful mind can never be unhappy. Think about this: your mind can either be your servant or your master. If it is your master, you will live a life of constant stress. But if it is your servant, it will work for you, it will support you, it will help you grow. And just like any servant, you must train it, you must discipline it, you must instruct it. If you let it do whatever it wants, it will create chaos. But if you guide it, it will create harmony. So, my friends, discipline your mind every single day. Begin your mornings not with complaints, but with gratitude. Whenever a negative thought comes, don't let it grow, replace it with a positive one. When your mind pulls you into the past or worries about the future, bring it back to the present. And most importantly, connect it with God, because a mind connected to the divine finds strength to resist distractions. Happiness is not in controlling the world. It is in controlling your own mind. And when your mind becomes disciplined, no storm outside can disturb the calmness inside. Gratitude over complaints. This is one of the greatest shifts we can bring into our life if we truly want to be happy every single day. My friends, the truth is very simple. A complaining heart cannot be a happy heart, and a grateful heart cannot be an unhappy heart. These two cannot exist together. When we live in complaints, we are blind to blessings. But when we live in gratitude, even the smallest blessings feel like miracles. Think about it. How many of us wake up in the morning and the first thing we notice is what we don't have? We say, "Oh, I wish I had a bigger house. I wish I had more money. I wish I had a better life." We look at the missing pieces of the puzzle instead of appreciating the beautiful picture that is already there. Gratitude changes this vision. Gratitude teaches us to say, "Thank you, God, for giving me another day to live, another chance to smile, another opportunity to grow." When the eyes of gratitude open, suddenly everything looks brighter. Let me share a simple example. Suppose you are driving to work and get stuck in traffic. The complaining mind will say, "Why is this road always blocked? Why do these people drive like this? Why is my life so stressful?" And the entire journey becomes a burden. But a grateful mind, in the same situation, will say, "At least I have a car to sit in. At least I have a job to go to. At least I have the health to move around." The traffic is the same, but the experience is completely different. Complaints poison the moment, gratitude sweetens it. Sometimes people say, "But there is nothing to be grateful for in my life. Everything is going wrong." And I gently remind them, if you are breathing, you already have more blessings than you can count. Because there are people lying in hospital beds, praying for just one more healthy breath. If you can walk, eat, or talk, you already have gifts that millions are crying for. But the complaining mind takes these basics for granted, while the grateful mind sees them as treasures. Once, I visited a school in a rural area where children had almost nothing. No fancy uniforms, no modern classrooms, sometimes not even proper shoes. Yet their faces were glowing with joy. One little boy told me, "Sir, I am so grateful because today we got pencils." Imagine that. A pencil was enough to make him smile with his whole heart. And then I thought about how many of us, with so many luxuries, still complain daily about small inconveniences. Gratitude is not about how much we have, it is about how much we appreciate what we have. In fact, complaints are like a black hole. They drain our energy. When you complain, you are essentially saying to life, "You are not good enough." And when you keep repeating that message, no matter how much good comes, you will always find something to be unhappy about. Gratitude, on the other hand, is like sunlight. It nourishes and expands whatever it touches. The more grateful you are, the more you begin to see blessings everywhere, even in challenges. There was a man who lost his job after many years of service. At first, he was filled with complaints. "Why me? Life is unfair. God doesn't care." But slowly, he decided to shift his perspective. He began to thank God for giving him time to rest, time to reflect, and time to explore new opportunities. Within a year, he started his own small business, something he always dreamed of but never dared to try. Looking back, he said, "Losing my job was a blessing in disguise. Gratitude helped me see the hidden gift." You see, gratitude does not change reality immediately, but it changes how you perceive reality, and that perception changes everything. Even in relationships, complaints destroy harmony while gratitude builds love. When we constantly point out what our partner, our parents, or our children are not doing, we create distance. But when we appreciate their efforts, however small, we build connection. Just a simple thank you can make someone feel valued. And when we give gratitude, we also receive happiness. No, some of you may be thinking, "But how do I practice gratitude when life is so stressful?" The answer is, start small. Every night before you sleep, think of 3 things you are grateful for. It could be as simple as a smile from a stranger, a meal you enjoyed, or the fact that you made it through another day. This small practice trains your mind to focus on the good instead of the lack. Slowly, you will find that complaints lose their power and gratitude becomes your natural state. Gratitude also connects us with God in a very special way. When we thank God not only for the big achievements but for the ordinary moments, the sunlight, the food, the laughter, it deepens our relationship with the divine. Complaints close the heart, gratitude opens it. And when your heart is open, happiness flows in naturally. So, my friends, let us remember this. Happiness is not about having everything perfect. It is about seeing perfection in everything we already have. Choose gratitude over complaints, and your life will feel lighter, brighter, and more beautiful. Train yourself to say, I don't have everything I want, but I am grateful for everything I have. Push yourself beyond comfort. My friends, comfort is sweet, but it is also dangerous. Comfort makes us feel safe, but it also makes us stagnant. Comfort whispers in your ear, stay here. It's easy, it's warm, it's familiar. But growth, progress, and true happiness are always waiting outside that circle of comfort. You see, life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. If you always do what is easy, your life will remain small. But if you dare to do what is difficult, your life will expand in ways you never imagined. Think about this. A seed cannot grow into a tree unless it breaks out of its shell. A bird cannot learn to fly unless it leaves the safety of the nest. And in the same way, you and I cannot discover our potential unless we step outside the comfort of the familiar. The tragedy is, many people spend their entire life sitting in their comfort zone, afraid to take a step into the unknown. They choose short-term ease over long-term growth and then wonder why their life feels stuck. Happiness is not found in comfort. It is found in progress. And progress demands that we push ourselves beyond comfort every single day. Let me share a small story. A young man once came to me and said, I want to be successful, I want to be happy, but I feel lazy. I just want to relax, sleep, and enjoy. I asked him, do you think a farmer can just sit back and relax and expect his field to give him a harvest? He laughed and said, no, of course not. I told him, exactly. Life will not give you fruit if you are not willing to do the labor. Comfort feels good now, but it steals your future. Hard work feels tough now, but it builds your tomorrow. He understood, and slowly, he began waking up earlier, working harder, and within a year, his life changed. His happiness increased, not because life became easy, but because he became stronger. This is the secret. Happiness is not about avoiding struggle, it is about embracing growth. When you push yourself to wake up earlier, to learn new skills, to face challenges, you feel a sense of accomplishment that comfort can never give. Comfort gives you momentary pleasure. Pushing yourself gives you lasting fulfillment. And fulfillment is where real happiness lies. Look at any area of your life. Maybe you want to get healthier. The comfort zone will say stay in bed, eat junk food, avoid exercise. But beyond comfort lies discipline, waking up early, moving your body, eating mindfully. The first few days feel difficult, but slowly you begin to feel stronger, more energetic, more alive. That happiness cannot be bought, it must be earned by pushing yourself. Or maybe you want to build meaningful relationships. The comfort zone will say, stay silent, don't open your heart, don't take the risk of expressing your feelings. But beyond comfort lies vulnerability, connection, trust. When you take that step, when you express gratitude, when you forgive, when you show love, you experience a happiness that hiding in comfort can never give. Think of students preparing for exams. The comfort zone tells them to relax, to scroll on their phone, to watch one more video. But pushing beyond comfort means sitting with the books, focusing, practicing, preparing. And when the results come, the comfort zone gives nothing, but discipline gives rewards. In every area of life, comfort may feel easy now, but it costs us later. Pushing yourself may feel hard now, but it blesses you later. Even in spirituality, comfort can become a trap. The comfort zone says, why meditate? Why pray? Why discipline your habits? Just go with the flow. But the soul remains restless. Push yourself beyond comfort, and you'll find peace in prayer, strength in silence, joy in service. The greatest saints, thinkers, and achievers of the world did not reach greatness by sitting comfortably. They pushed themselves daily to rise above laziness, above fear, above excuses. Let me give you another simple example. Imagine you want to climb a hill. Staying at the bottom feels easy, no effort, no sweat. But the view is limited, the air is heavy, and you miss the beauty of the top. The climb may be hard, your legs may ache, your breath may grow heavy. But when you reach the top, the view, the freshness, the feeling of achievement makes every step worth it. That is life. Comfort keeps you at the bottom. Pushing yourself takes you to the top. No, I am not saying comfort is evil. We all need rest. But the problem is when rest becomes a lifestyle, when comfort becomes our master, when we avoid challenges just to stay safe. That is when life loses its spark. The happiest people are not the ones who avoided discomfort. They are the ones who embraced it, grew through it, and discovered their strength in the process. So, my friends, ask yourself, where is your comfort zone holding you back? Maybe in your career, maybe in your relationships, maybe in your personal growth, and then take one step outside of it. Just one step. Push yourself to do what is necessary, not just what is easy. Push yourself to rise, to grow, to live fully. Because comfort may give you a soft pillow, but it will never give you a strong heart. Push yourself beyond comfort, and you will find a happiness far greater than anything comfort could ever provide. Connect with God daily. My friends, just as the body needs food every day to stay strong, the soul needs connection with God every day to stay peaceful. We often feed the body with 3 meals, but how often do we feed our soul with prayer, reflection, silence, or gratitude? We wonder why we feel empty, restless, or lost even when everything outside seems fine. The answer is simple: the body is nourished, but the soul is starving. Without a daily connection with God, life may look successful on the outside, but feels hollow on the inside. Think of a mobile phone. No matter how advanced the model is, no matter how many features it has, it becomes useless if it is not charged. You may hold the latest phone, but if the battery is dead, you cannot call, message, or connect. In the same way, you may have money, position, recognition, and comforts. But if you do not recharge your inner battery by connecting with God, you feel drained, anxious, and disconnected from peace. Just as we plug in our phones to recharge daily, we must plug our hearts into the divine source every day. The truth is, life is noisy. The world constantly demands our attention. Notifications on the phone, deadlines at work, conversations at home. It feels like 1,000 voices speaking to us at once. In this noise, the gentle voice of God gets drowned. And yet, that is the one voice that can bring us calm, strength, and clarity. When you take time daily to pause, to meditate, to pray, or to simply sit in silence and remember God, you tune your soul to that higher frequency. And just like a radio catches the right station when you adjust the dial, your mind catches peace when you adjust it towards God. Let me share a simple example. A woman once told me, "I don't have time to pray or meditate. My life is too busy." I asked her, "Do you have time to charge your phone every night?" She smiled and said, "Of course, without charging my phone, I can't function." Then I asked, "If your phone is more important than your soul, then how will your soul function without charging?" That moment struck her deeply. From the next day, she decided to spend just 10 minutes each morning in silence with God. A few weeks later, she told me, "My problems didn't disappear, but my mind became calmer, my heart became stronger, and I began handling situations with peace instead of panic." That is the power of daily connection. Some people think connecting with God requires hours of rituals, but that is not true. Connection with God can be as simple as whispering a thank you in the morning, as simple as sitting quietly for a few minutes and focusing on your breath, as simple as remembering God's name during the day, as simple as serving someone selflessly and feeling God's presence in that act. God is not asking for complicated rituals. God is asking for a sincere heart. And when you connect with God sincerely, even for a few moments, your whole day transforms. Without connection, we get lost in fear and doubt. But when we connect with God, we feel guided, protected, and uplifted. It's like walking in a dark room with no light. Every step feels dangerous. But the moment you switch on a lamp, the darkness disappears. God is that lamp. When we remember Him daily, the darkness of fear, stress, and confusion vanishes, and we see the path clearly. Even if the journey is tough, we feel safe because we know we are not walking alone. Think of a river. If it is separated from its source, it begins to dry up. But as long as it flows from the source, it remains full of life, nourishing everyone along its path. In the same way, when we disconnect from God, we begin to dry up inside. Our patience dries up, our kindness dries up, our peace dries up. But when we stay connected to the divine source, we overflow with positivity, and our presence nourishes others too. We speak kinder words, we spread lighter energy, and people feel uplifted just being around us. There was a man who faced many struggles in his business. Every day, he would stress, argue, and feel hopeless. But one day, he decided to start his mornings with 15 minutes of prayer and reflection. Instead of asking God only for success, he started thanking God for the strength to keep going. Over time, his approach to life changed. He still faced difficulties, but now he faced them with patience and faith. He told me once, "My problems are still there, but I feel like I'm walking with a giant beside me. I no longer feel small before my challenges." This is the gift of connection with God. It doesn't always remove your burdens, but it makes your shoulders stronger to carry them. So, my friends, never underestimate the power of connecting with God daily. Do not wait for weekends, festivals, or crises. Just as you eat every day, just as you sleep every day, nourish your soul every day. Start small, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes before sleep. Speak to God, listen in silence, express gratitude, ask for guidance. Slowly, you will notice that your inner storms become calmer, your decisions become wiser, and your happiness becomes deeper. Remember this: the world may change, people may change, situations may change, but God is the constant presence in our life. When you connect with Him daily, you carry an anchor of peace within you. No storm can shake you, no failure can break you, no success can blind you, because your strength comes from the source. And that connection, my friends, is the foundation of true and lasting happiness. Serve others selflessly. My friends, one of the greatest secrets of happiness is hidden in these simple words. When we live only for ourselves, our joy is limited. But when we live to uplift others, our joy multiplies. Service is not just an act, it is a state of heart. It is the realization that life is not only about me, but about, and the more we give, the more we grow. The more we share, the more we shine. Think about it. How do you feel when you make someone else smile? Even if your day was heavy, even if your mind was restless, the moment you brighten another person's day, something inside you lights up. This is because the soul is naturally wired for service. Just as a flower is meant to give fragrance, just as a lamp is meant to give light, the human heart is meant to give love. When we forget this, life feels empty. But when we live it, life feels meaningful. Let me share a story. There was once a man who was deeply depressed. He went to a wise teacher and said, "I have no reason to be happy. My life feels pointless." The teacher gave him a simple instruction. Every day for the next 1 month, do one kind act for someone else without expecting anything in return. The man reluctantly agreed. At first, he did small things, helping an old woman cross the road, giving food to a beggar, smiling at strangers. Slowly, something began to change. His depression started to fade, his heart began to feel lighter. After a month, he returned to the teacher and said, "I came here searching for happiness, but by serving others, happiness found me." This is the magic of selfless service. We often think service means something big, donating millions, running charities, or building schools. But service is not measured by size, it is measured by sincerity. A kind word to someone who feels lonely, listening patiently to a friend, helping a co-worker, feeding a hungry animal, or simply offering your time. These small acts may seem ordinary to you, but they can be extraordinary for someone else. Happiness does not always come from grand gestures. It often comes from small, consistent acts of kindness. Now ask yourself honestly, how much of our time goes only into thinking about ourselves, our problems, our dreams, our struggles? And how often do we pause to think about what others may be going through? Many times we think our life is too difficult, but the moment we look beyond ourselves, we realize others are carrying burdens far heavier. Service is the shift from self-centeredness to compassion, and compassion opens the doors to happiness. There is another beauty in service. It connects us directly with God. When we serve others with love, we are actually serving God through them. Every human being is a spark of the divine, and when you help someone, you are honoring that divinity. A plate of food given to a hungry person is not just food, it is worship. A kind word spoken to someone in pain is not just speech, it is prayer. When you serve others selflessly, you don't just make them happy, you make God smile. Think about families. Complaints often arise because each person is focused on what they are not receiving. It doesn't care about me, she doesn't respect me, they don't appreciate me. But what if instead of focusing on receiving, each person focused on giving? A husband asking, "How can I serve my wife today?" A wife asking, "How can I make my husband's day easier?" Parents asking, "How can I give more love to my children?" Children asking, "How can I make my parents proud?" If every member of a family embraced service, complaints would vanish and joy would blossom. Because service transforms relationships from transactions into treasures. Service also heals the heart in times of pain. Many people ask me, "How can I overcome sadness?" And I tell them, serve someone in greater need than yourself. When you sit with someone suffering more, when you give them comfort, suddenly your pain feels smaller. Not because your problems disappear, but because your heart expands. And when the heart expands, it can hold both pain and joy at the same time. Even in workplaces, selfless service creates magic. Imagine